How's everybody doing today?
Good.
All right. Well, we obviously just getting done with the walkthrough there. It's obvious that the day off yesterday has helped us. Energy was really good there. I think we've got to dial back in here and make sure that we understand the objective for tonight. Today's the last practice before the first scrimmage. Really no installation outside of a couple concepts for the situations that we have left to install, that being 2-minute and backed up offense. So tomorrow's the first scrimmage, obviously a big step for our football team. I think the key thing here for each player is to play with great effort, great toughness, and show us that they've got the discipline to execute and do their job. We've got tons of competition at almost each position. In particular, quarterback that you guys always want to talk about, but also all three specialists, the kicker, the punter, the long snapper, and almost every position on our entire team. I'm anxious to see some really good quality game changer work, to see what guys are willing to compete on special teams and get in position to win those jobs. Lots of competition there as well. So we're right in position. I think the progression that's in place, the rules that have been made, are good. I like the progression so far this year, and certainly our team is holding together pretty well. So we're off to a good start. I'm excited about today and tomorrow. With that, we'll take some questions.
How do you judge the scrimmage when I would think the offense knows what the defense is doing and the defense knows what the offense is doing? Does that make it easier for you, actually?
Well, I think that you'd be surprised. I think that we've got enough variables on both sides where, at this point, we're really zeroed in on our responsibility and making adjustments, making the correct calls, making the correct reads at quarterback, whatever the case may be. So I don't know that we're quite to that point where we're an open book on both sides of the ball. But we will call the game that way. We will want to keep the concepts relatively simple to make sure as a staff we can evaluate who can truly perform, and not necessarily the guy that's smart enough, but who's got the ability and can do their job. Who's going to be the best player in 5 weeks?
Who should be ahead and who is ahead, offense, defense at this point?
It's been pretty competitive, truth be known. I think a lot of it has to do with maybe who's nicked up, what guys are missing and that type of stuff. But I think overall it's been very, very competitive. There's been days that you walk off the field and say, hey, the offense had a better day or the defense had a better day, and that's what you want, And I think that I can tell based off the script, whether or not we're in a good position or bad position most of the time. So for the most part, been very competitive camp, and that's the way we like it.
Who have you seen step up defensively?
I think overall we've just added lots of quality players. I think Lorenzo McCaskill has really showed that he can be a very capable player. I think the addition of Chauncey Manac gives us a big physical edge player. I think the young corners to go along with Mike Jacquette's move, Kendall Johnson's move. I think A.J. Riley is a young player that can be a role player as a pass rusher. And then just in general, the depth up front, the addition of McDowell, the addition of Masri, Tamaji, Sammy, all those young defensive linemen. I think Zion Hill probably is the standout player, in my opinion, on defense so far. So we're a complete overhaul over there. We've added, I think, 15 or 16 scholarship players. We've moved 3 players from offense to defense. So, and there's no question that's where we need to make improvement if you just evaluate the past. But I think our staff has done a good job. We've had a good teaching progression, and I think our year-round plan for installation and player development has paid off there. So I think in general, as an entire unit, we're a lot better football team over there.
Coach, you're almost 2 weeks into kind of your first camp as a head college football coach. How's it going for you? Do you feel like you know what you want to do and how everything seems to be going according to what you expected?
Yeah, and I really, you got to attribute that to some of the experiences I've had in the past. The model that we're using, we're practicing at a little bit different time, but just in general, the progression that we use to get ready for each practice, the amount of time we have to review the film as a practice, the staff meeting time, the meeting time, the break time, all those things that were in place at the other stops. I think we've done a good job as a staff of kind of putting together a good blueprint. And, we made a tweak here or there, but for the most part, everything's going really well so far.
Anything surprise you that you didn't expect? Like, oh man, this is a headache that I didn't think I'd have as a head coach, or something that's easier?
Well, once you get going, and you kind of establish that routine, it works. But I think we're seeing ourselves get a little bit better each day, getting the most of our time and being really efficient. And that, in general, that's a message, right? Each team we play, each player that you'll play against, each coach that you'll coach against, we all have the same amount of time, and it's about who uses that time most efficiently and most effectively.
And one more thing from me, if you don't mind. Just talk about the importance of fans getting season tickets, if you will, and why that's so important for you guys and the program.
Well, for me, I think it's going to be rewarding because I think our players have really bought into what we're trying to establish here. They've worked really hard, and just selfishly, I want them to be rewarded for their work, But in general, I think it's a time to rally the troops to some degree. At Acadiana in general, it's time for every Cajun that really cares about this place and is proud of being from this area and supporting UL to be there and watch these young men work.
Being a head coach comes with different responsibilities that you got to deal with things that you haven't. Given what's going on at Ohio State, is that something you address with your staff? Generally?
Yeah, I think from a protocol standpoint, we're really sound in what we're doing. And I've got great relationships with all the people that work with me. I know their families. I know their situations very well. So, and that goes back to that hiring process. I had an opportunity to really be thorough and really pick my group. And I think that we made an agreement in the beginning how we were going to do things here. And certainly I've got more conviction about each one of those guys, having worked with them for 7-8 months now.
What's the most positive thing that stands out to you about Ladarius Kidd, and what areas of the game do you feel like still needs the most work?
Well, first thing about Ladarius is he's lost significant weight, and all of that's been the bad weight that he was carrying around. He's got stronger, he's lighter, he's leaner, he's quicker. I think he's really improved as a technician. Coach Segrist has done a really good job. Plays well with his hands. He's bringing his feet coming out of his hips. And he's proved to be a guy that can anchor that defense. And for us, philosophically, we want to be really strong in the middle of that defense and prevent teams from attacking the middle of the field. So we're pleased with Darius. Probably the most impressive thing has been his leadership throughout the summer and the ownership that he took being his last year here.
How much juggling have you had to do just because you never know when there's going to be like a deluge here in terms of indoors or
Say it one more time now.
You never know when it's going to, thunderstorm's going to pop up or whatever. How much juggling have you had to do with where you're going to practice and timing?
I think we've had one day where we made an adjustment and went completely inside. For the most part, what we've been doing is half the practice outside and then we move to the indoor. Sometimes we'll move down into the stadium. But none of that, we haven't had a weather situation. Somebody's living right. We've been very blessed, very fortunate. We had one situation where it was a little damp outside and we chose to go inside. But, that's one of the things that we have here, thanks to tons of people that have invested in the program. We've got a quality indoor facility that allows us to keep our practice model exactly the same and just roll with the punches. So we're grateful for that.
Are all the guys who had been limited still limited?
We'll get some guys back non-contact. For example, Mike Jockett will be back non-contact. Lenard Callaway will be back. He's over his stomach bug. For the most part, we're going to be rolling into this scrimmage pretty healthy. We're going to have some guys that will go in black jerseys like we did with some of those guys in the past, whether that's Corey Turner. Basically did that the entire spring. But for the most part, day off yesterday, another day of recovery. We've got some guys that are getting in position to scrimmage this weekend.
But like the ones who went into camp limited, like Mitchell and Raheem?
Yeah, all those guys have been 100% participating in practice. The only modification is we've kept them non-contact. And at some point, as we get closer to the second scrimmage, we'll take that off and cut them loose and let them play. But we couldn't be more happy with those guys in terms of their progress and, looking like their old self again.
How does the cornerback play non-contact?
Great. That's a great question. Yeah. Well, I think it's just like anything. I mean, there's a reason why Drew Brees didn't play the whole game last night. It's a risk to put him out there, and I think we're no different. These scrimmages are preseason games, and we're not going to hit our quarterback. It's a belief that we have, and I think that when I was a player, we ran the option, so they tackled me. But
Well, I mean, Jaquette, does he get to do two-hand touch or something like that?
yeah, we want the guy to get the competitive rep, the tackle rep, but at the same time keep him off the ground. He's going to practice as if it's tag mode, and that's one of the areas where we've made significant progress is just the relationship we have on offense and defense and working together, really iron sharpens iron and making each other better, but at the same time keeping everybody off the ground. So he'll be in that tempo. Everybody else is out there cutting it loose.
You guys went bowling last night on your off day.
We
Is there an
did.
activity planned kind of every week?
Well, for the off day, yes, we do. We've got, we basically the rules are you got to have one off day every 7 days, and the time we have allotted for practice, we're having a team event each one of those off days.
Build competitiveness into that?
Yeah, we kept score last night. I'm not sure who won, but we kept score.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, what determines if you shave or let the peach fuzz grow?
Yeah, that's a good question. I just felt like shaving today, Trying to be more like you, Dave,
I shave like twice a week.
I hear you.
I don't have a 5 o'clock shadow. I got like 2 weeks shadow.
It's kind of like I ask Allie every day, hey, what do you think? You want me to keep this or shave it off? So we let her make that decision. All right, guys. Thank y'all. Have a good day.